Hey, what is up, guys? It is Jaden Yuki coming at you with a new deck profile video today. And today I have, as you can see on the screen in front of you, it is the DDD Different Dimension Demons, and this deck is phenomenal. If I do say so myself, um, the DDD archetype is, or DD archetype, really, um, is basically based around fusion, synchro, Xyz, stuff like that. We don't have the synchro yet, but we will, and I think it's coming out in Breaker of the Shadows. So really excited for that. But for right now, this deck is really good right now. And without further ado, let's get right to it. Um, so as you can see, the first card we are playing is the DD7 Kepler. 7 Kepler is a level 1 with 0 attack and 0 defense, scale of 10. His pendulum effect is okay, you're not really going to ever use it. You can't pendulum summon monsters except DD monsters, and then his effect can't be negated. Once per turn, during your standby phase, you can reduce this card's pendulum scale by 2, minimum 1. Then destroy all monsters you control with a level greater than or equal to this card's pendulum scale, except DD monsters. It's okay. It's not really what you want to focus on. What you want to focus on is the monster effect. Is when he's normal or special summoned, I can activate one of these effects, and I can only use one of the effects, or I can only use this effect once per turn. So, one of the effect is when he's normal or special, then I can target a DD card I control and return it to the hand, or the main effect is that I can add a Dark Contract for my deck to my hand. And that is amazing right there. You can add your Witch, you can add your Swamp King, Errors, Gate, stuff like that. So, that is really good right there. Next up, I'm playing the 2 copies of the DD Necro Slime. You can play 3 of this if you want. I play 2, just because of the fact that it's honestly it's a really good card, and it's a fusion from the graveyard, so that's really awesome. And then moving on to the level 2s, I'm running the 3 copies of the DD Swirl Slime. He's your polymerization, basically. If he's in your hand, you can fusion summon a DDD fusion monster by banishing, or not by banishing, sending cards from your hand to the graveyard, and he has to be one of the materials, and then you can banish him from your graveyard, special summon a DD from hand. So that can be your Ragnarok, your Leonidas, your Baphomet. That's really good right there. Speaking of Baphomet, you are running 3 copies of the DD Baphomet. Baphomet basically is a level changer. When he is on the field, you can target another DD monster, and that has a level, and you choose a level between 1 and 8, and it becomes that level. So that's really awesome. You can change your Leonidas, you can change your Ragnarok, King D'Arc. So, moving on, I'm running the 3 copies of the DDD Rebel King Leonidas. Okay, let me focus on that right there. There we go. When I take effect damage, except during the damage step, I can destroy him. This is his pendulum effect. I can destroy this card, and if you do, any effect damage that I would take to this turn becomes gaining, or is gained instead of inflicted. So that's really awesome. And then his monster effect, when he's in your hand, when you take effect damage, you can special summon him from your hand and recover the damage you lost. So that's really cool. And plus, he's a 2600 beat stick, and that's who doesn't love that. And then the last 3 of you play is the 3 DDD Oblivion King Abyss Ragnarok. Let me focus right there on him. There we go. So basically, his pendulum effect is I can special summon. If I special summon a DD monster or monsters except during the damage step, I can target a DD monster in my graveyard, and any battle damage my opponent takes becomes half for the rest of the turn, and I special summon that monster and I take 1,000 damage. So that's really awesome. He has a scale of 5, which is awesome as well. And then his monster effect is if he's normal or special, this is the more preferred effect. You can target 1 DDD monster in your graveyard and special summon it, and then I can only use this effect once per turn, and then once per turn I contribute a DD, another DD monster, and banish a card on my opponent's field, or a monster on my opponent's field. That is amazing right there. You get to banish something that beats the entire purpose of Magic Specters, that beats the entire purpose of Infernoids. That's so good, guys. And then the last monster you're playing is the 2 DD7 Galilei. Basically the same effect as 7 Kepler, so I'm not going to go over that. His monster effect is during either player's turn, I can discard 7 Galilei and then target a DD or Dark Contract card I control and return it to the hand. So that's really cool right there. That is it for the monsters, guys. Moving on to the spell lineup. The spell lineup is pretty standard. You guys are going to want to live by the spell lineup. The 3 Dark Contract with the Gate. Let me focus right there. Dark Contract with the Gate is basically your once per turn Tenki. During my main phase, I can add a DD monster from my deck to my hand. And once per turn during my standby phase, I take 1,000. So next, this is a personal preference. You can do whatever you want, but I run the 2 copies of DD or Dark Contract with the Swamp King. It's your polymerization for the big Ragnarok fusion guy, or the new fusion that's coming out in Breakers of Shadow. I think it's coming out. Temujin. So basically, you fuse, and if you're going for a DD fusion monster, then I can banish cards from my graveyard as well for the cost. So that's really awesome. And during my standby phase, I take 1,000. You don't have to play 2 of this. I choose to play 2. I've never found myself needing a 3rd one. So yeah, 3 is a bit of an overkill for me. Moving on, I'm running the double MST. It's MST. Then to the 1-ofs, I'm playing the 1 for 1. Let me move this all up. The 1 for 1, the 1 Raigeki, and the 1 Foolish Burial. If you wanted to, you can take out the Foolish Burial for another Swamp King. 1 for 1 is kind of necessary to get out either your 7 Kepler to use the effect to add a Dark Contract, or just to get out your Necro Slime if you really honestly wanted to. And then, so yeah, that's it for the spell lineup. Moving on to the awesome trap lineup. The traps are pretty standard. You are running the 3 copies of Dark Contract with the Witch. This card is so good against stuff like Burning Abyss, or stuff like, let's see, let's go, Infernoids. That's really good against. I mean, it's good. You pitch a DD or a Dark Contract from your hand, and then you destroy a card on the field during either player's turn. That is really good. Like, that's awesome. There's nothing much to say about that. And then all Fiend type monsters I control gain 1,000 attack during my opponent's turn, and then once per turn I take 1,000 damage during my standby phase. Moving on, I'm running the Dark Contract with Errors. It's your Royal Decree. For your turn, during your turn, if you have a DD monster on the field, then you can negate the effects of all other trap cards in the field, and that's awesome. Next up, you are running the 2 Dark Contract. Jeez, Call of the Haunted. Yeah, I know, one's platinum, one's common. Don't judge me. It's Call of the Haunted because you can special summon your King Diarch if he gets destroyed, and you're really going to want King Diarch on the field if you have like 2 or 3 Dark Contract cards, and that's not going to help if you take 3,000 damage in one turn. You want to be gaining those life points, guys. So that's it for the 2-ofs, and then on to the 1-ofs. I'm playing the 1 Bottomless Trap Hole, the 1 Solemn Warning, the 1 Vanity's Emptiness, and then the 1 Torrential Tribute. That is it for the trap lineup. Moving on to the extra deck. It's actually pretty okay. The only thing I would recommend, I'll tell you what I would recommend after. The first thing you are playing is the triple DDD Oracle King Diarch, or Oracle King Diarch, my bad. Takes 2 DDDs, the easiest card to get out in your entire deck, and then any damage that would be inflicted to your life points makes you gain that much instead. That is just so good. You can activate like 3 DDD or 3 Dark Contracts, and then your next standby phase you gain 3,000 life points. It's so good. I've had myself get up to about, I think the highest I've gotten up to is 18,000 life points. I was going against the Burning Abyss deck, and he was trying to just keep himself alive. I kept attacking. I kept gaining life points. He was down to 5,000 or 4,000, something like that, and I was at 16,000 life points. It's so good. Next card is the double the Ragnarok Fusion. I ordered them in the mail and they haven't come yet, and it sucks, but keeping it going. You want to run 2 copies of that. Basically, when he attacks, you steal an opponent's monster, you equip it to him, and you get to steal opponent's monsters when you attack, and it gains that much attack, and it's awesome. You guys go check that card out. And then the next card I run is the double Duo Dawn King Kali Yuga. Basically, Kali Yuga, when he's Xyz summoned, for the rest of the turn, all other card effects are negated. All other face-up card effects are negated. And once per turn, during either player's turn, I can attach a material any heavy storms. He destroys all other spell and traps on the field. That's amazing right there. Your opponent wants to activate, let's say they want to activate, I don't know, give me something like Tenki or something. You can kill it. You know, it's an MST, or not an MST, Heavy Storm, but quick play. That is so good. And then I can detach a material from him and then set a Dark Contract from my graveyard. So that is awesome. Next, I'm running the 2 DDD Marksman King Tell. King Tell needs to be ranked up. Let me focus right there. King Tell needs to be ranked up from a level or rank 4 DDD monster, which is what your King Kaiser's for. And so when I take effect damage, I can attach a material from him, and then target a monster on the field. It loses 1,000, inflict 1,000 to your opponent. And that's awesome. When he's sent to the graveyard, I can send a DD or Dark Contract card from my deck to the graveyard. So that's awesome. Then you are running the 2 Wave King Kaiser. You can run one of this guy if you want. The only reason I run 2 is so I can rank up easier. And then, so his effect is during either player's turn, I can attach a material, and at the end of the battle phase, I special summon as many monsters that were destroyed as possible. And, yeah, I mean, that's awesome. And then during my next standby phase, I take 1,000 for each. And if he's sent from the field to the graveyard, I can add a Dark Contract from my deck to my hand, and you can only use his effect once per turn. But that's awesome. He adds a Dark Contract. And then the last 4 cards I am running is the 1 Abyss Dweller, the 1 Castel, the 1 Cowboy, and then the 1 103. Honestly, if I had to take out cards, I'd take out the Ragna Zero, and I'd take out probably the Abyss Dweller. You'd probably want to put in something like a Draco Sack, or you'd probably want to put in like a Big Eye or a Felgrand. I just don't have these. My friend owes me a Felgrand, but, you know, he hasn't given it to me yet. So, John, if you're out there, you owe it to me. So, yep, oops, there we go. So, honestly, this deck is so good, guys. You can gain so many life points, and it is just so good that you do. Oops, there we go. You gain life points like crazy, and so yeah, this deck is honestly the most ideal thing that I can think of when you think of just a new deck that's like, it's cheap, but yet it's expensive at the same time, and it's going to be really good meta soon. Yeah, I mean, like, let me just focus on the main guy right there, that son of a gun. So basically, yeah, it's a really good deck, and I hope you guys can pick this deck up because it is amazing. So that is it for my deck profile, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please comment, like, and subscribe. This is Jaden Yuki, signing off. Later.